Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very senior and respected professional with a deep understanding of quality and an author from Los Angeles, USA, Mr. Subir Chowdhury. Subir, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Subir is an author of a book titled The Difference. He's the chairman and CEO of ASI Consulting Group, LLC. He has been nominated as one of the most influential management thinkers in the world, part of Thinkers 50 of London, UK. He's from IIT Kharagpur, where he established the Subir Chowdhury School of Quality and Reliability in 2017. So, Subir, before we talk about quality, a few questions for you. You are one of
Sure.
the world's foremost quality experts. What were the most defining moments in your early journey?
Thank you so much, first of all, Mr. Garg, for featuring me in your podcast. It's a great pleasure to talking to, especially the India is a very special place. So when I get invitation from India, there's always been a special. So regarding my journey is all about, it all started with my grandfather when he was an elementary school teacher and I was maybe 4 or 5 years old. And he used to give me a pen and a coin, right? And he used to tell me, choose one of the two. And every time I used to choose a coin, he used to say, Shubir, coin, as soon as you buy something with the coin, it will go away. But anything you see around the world, around you, is all created by the pen. Then he also kind of taught me some principles of saying that whenever you read a book, you write to an author. So I said, Grandpa, if they don't reply, he said, if they don't reply, you write to them again. I said, if I write 100 letters, if they don't reply, he said, then you write the 101st letter. So I started writing letters at the age of maybe 7 or 8 to a lot of the authors, especially mostly in Bengal. And what happened with that magic, by the age 12, literally I became some of the best friend with some of the top laureates in Bengal, right? All the top like poets, laureates, all those people. So from that mindset, what my grandfather developed, that literally helped me later on. So later on, when I came to the US, when I wrote my first book it's called the QS 9000 Pioneers in the automotive quality area. One of the mission I had was to make sure that book has to be literally reviewed and endorsed. This is my first book by every single living quality gurus like Dr. Taguchi, Philip Crosby, J.D. Power, all these giants. None of them I knew personally. 26 years old, an immigrant in this country, just came 3 years earlier. I started writing to them. At that time, there's no email. I was faxing letter to them. And if they don't reply, I continuously fax, continuously fax. Guess what? Ultimately, all came together, Dr. Taguchi from Japan and all. So by the time, when my book was launched in Chicago, every single quality expert of the world came in to launch my book.
Wow.
And then that changed my life. So by the time I was 26, 27, when the book came out, it became one of the top book in the automotive quality. That literally changed my life, right? That put me into that position. The other thing my grandfather also teach me, saying that, if you hang around with the best of the best, people think you will be one of the best. But if you hang around with the worst of the worst, then you will be one of the worst of the worst. So the choice is yours, whom you wanted to deal with. If you wanted to hang around with the quality people, then you wanted to be a quality person, then go ahead and hang around with the quality people. And that has stuck with me in that childhood. That really helped me tremendously in my journey. So then what happened was, because by the age of 26, 27, all these quality giant not only endorsed my book, came to launch my book, then they became my mentors. Then over time, they became my friend. So I literally got all the quality training for them completely free, right? And that's what I really wanted to inspire your audience, that it is in your hand. The choice is in your hand. Question is that, are you putting that effort to go and reach out to the people? See, in Indian culture, one of the problem is when we are child, I don't know now, but when we were child, I'm 58 now, but when we were child, at that time, that our parents always used to encourage in front of the older person, you never say you don't know something, right? So we have a tendency that we have to always try to portray we are the best. The real secret is no. Real secret is that always you say when you are young you don't know much.
Mm,
How you can learn more,
mm,
right? So even if you ask me, you are telling me you are very kind to tell me I'm the world's best, quality and all this. But I'm very honest with you. I think that myself. I think that I'm still learning. I
mm,
didn't know enough of quality,
mm.
right?
Very well
So
said. Well said. Business Week once called you the quality prophet. How do you personally define quality in today's context?
Quality, as you know, it is the such a word. It means different things to different people, right?
Correct. Correct.
But and it also changes over time when you age, because when we age more we become maybe more wiser,
Mm,
right, because of your experience, right? So if you ask me today what is the context of quality, I personally believe that right now the world doesn't matter is in India or America or UK or anywhere else, the world needs quality more than ever,
mhm,
because the quality of life is literally screwed up big
mm,
time
mm,
around the world. Quality of life, because the more the technology came in, it made our quality of life poorer and poorer and poorer.
mm,
So in India or any other, especially in the West, now the mindfulness became a big thing, right?
mhm,
I would still feel, because we are so much into our device all the
mm,
time. So
mm,
the quality of life is getting affected. Even in IIT, I was listening to, even in IIT Kharagpur, where I graduated from, over there, a lot of such a young mind, so brilliant people, at least 4 or 5 suicides every year, right? Because of the frustration, whatever the things they have, their quality of life is not good.
mm,
So I kind of, for me, that I think the major challenge right now is to how to improve the quality of life,
mm,
individual life.
mm,
And if your quality of life is good, your work would be good. Your like I asked some very, very simple question. When is the last time you talked with your parents? I
mm,
asked this question to a lot of the senior leaders, right? I'm talking about Fortune 500 company CEOs. When I
mm,
asked the question, when is the last time you talked with your parents? And these guys are between the age group of 45 to 55 or 60, that age group. When I asked them, they kind of gave me a big look saying, Shubir, what are you talking about? I said, simple question. If you're drop dead right now, who is the person who will be cry until their last breath? Is your parents. I will not cry for you, but you are spending time with me. So instead of spending time with me, you go, as a minimum, you spend time with your parents,
mm,
right? That is the same thing. So I feel very strongly about that. For me, the definition of quality is all about try to improve yourself as your quality of life. Once you are
mm,
a good quality person, then you can practice the process quality. Then you
mm.
can practice the other part of the quality. It's not about, see, in India, or even in the US too, a lot of the time you will see ISO 9000 certified or
Yeah.
this certified or give it a quality award. That
Mm,
means that they achieve quality. No, not at all. So if you ask me, what should I do to improve my lives of quality? You know
mm,
what I do? I
mm,
read Rabindranath Tagore. I read Rabindranath Tagore. I go read Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda. That is the inspiration.
mm.
Those are the really high quality people. That is the quality principle I wanted to learn from.
Fascinating. Fascinating. But in all the work that you do with so many leaders around the world,
Right.
what, in your view, are some of the biggest misconceptions leaders and organizations still hold about quality?
Okay, so one of the challenge in quality is that people first misconception is that quality costs more money.
Mm,
That is not true at all, right?
mm,
So if you that is absolutely not true. So quality is nothing to do with the money. It's
mm,
basically if you really design the product right at the first time, if the mindset is there at the first time, then quality problem should not happen in the first place,
mhm,
right? That is number one. Number two is that I feel the majority of the leaders, they create, especially the large organization, they create an organizational culture
mm,
in a way that, like to give an example, that think about Ratan Tata, the way he established Tata as an organization.
mm,
How many organizations in India is like Tata? Not too many.
mm.
But he literally helped and Tata is not only in Indian, I'm talking about Tata as a global company. Even
Absolutely.
American corporation, I tell them
Mm,
to follow some of the Ratan Tata's principle. What they did is that so they deeply care for other employees. That is quality, right? If he did not employ, because he cares for so much of the employees, those
Mm,
employees build a quality organization. So
mm,
I think the most important misconception for the leaders, what I find is that they don't think quality is their job.
mm,
They think that quality is just merely a process where they can improve something in, if the defect happen or something like that nature. I
mm,
kind of push them saying that no, quality is completely 360-degree. You have
mm,
to think about every single day, every single moment. You have to practice and you have to preach, you have to show you
mm,
deeply care as a human. That is a quality part. You
mm,
have to think about if every process is broken or not. You have to think about it. I simply asked a question when I was in India to meeting with the top 1,000 manufacturing executives. I asked in front of the 1,000 CEOs, manufacturing CEOs, I asked them, when is the last time you take the time and you put your hand on a shoulder of a employee and just say thank you, just simple thank you.
mm,
And they are completely pinned of silence. And I told them, I said, like, as soon as you rise to the top,
mm.
you think that you should not practice. No, if you don't practice that, that means you're not practicing quality. So you
Very
have to show your quality behavior first
correct.
before
Correct.
you put the quality process in place. So
Correct.
that is the some of the
Very
misconceptions
interesting.
that I feel.
Very interesting. Subir, in your book, The Difference, you
Yes,
say good enough is not enough.
yes,
Tell me
yes.
more about this philosophy.
Okay, so typically what happened is that, quality I talk about is a continuous journey, right?
Correct.
Continuous improvement, right? So it never stops. So because your technology is continuously changing, your product has to be continuously improved. So
Mm,
when I say that good enough, so a lot of the time, if some company think, oh, okay, I received the highest quality award. So, okay, now I don't have any other things to improve.
mm,
That is not the thing.
mm,
That's what I'm saying is that good enough is not enough, right?
mm,
So always have to think about how your product or process is making an impact to humanity.
mm,
If you think that perspective, okay, not only making money, also to the humanity, how it is
mm,
impacting to the humanity. If you think about that perspective, how it is impacting to our customer base, right?
mm.
And relentlessly thinking about the customer, and
Yeah.
customer perception is changing over time
Mm,
because your needs and my needs versus our children needs are completely different.
mm,
So if they don't think about that, no, it is not good enough. If
mm,
you have that kind of continuous mindset every single day forever, then an organization will see the major success.
mm.
That's what the main
Very
foundation of
interesting.
it.
You also introduced the Leo method in the ice cream maker.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about this method and why does it resonate so well with organizations?
When I wrote the book called The Ice Cream Maker, that book, in fact, that is also a bestseller in India too. It is also available in Marathi, Hindi, a lot of different language in India
Hmm.
as well.
Hmm.
The Ice Cream Maker book. So when I wrote the Ice Cream Maker book, the main purpose of writing that book is written in a story format. Is only 2 hour read, and basically the whole concept is that how can I teach quality from a fifth grader to a all the way to my at that time my daughter was fifth grade. So a fifth grader to my mom who is 75 plus at that time. So in between everybody. So I wanted to write a book
Hmm.
anybody within that age group can understand. So
Hmm.
even if you give that ice cream maker to a fifth grader, they will understand it. Even
Hmm.
if you go to anybody, they will understand. So over there, what are the two or three things I can teach about the foundation of quality? So
Hmm.
literally, I introduced a concept called Leo.
Hmm.
Listen. It stands for listen, enrich, optimize. So let me
Hmm.
give you a little bit of that. So for an example, the listen means,
Hmm.
unfortunately, the world we live in,
Hmm.
we always wants to talk more but listen less.
Hmm.
What I'm trying to say, no, you always have to listen to your customer. And there is a
Hmm.
two type of customer. One is called internal customer, another
Hmm.
one is called external customers. So
Right.
who is the internal customers? Internal customers is your family members, is your
Hmm.
spouse, is your
Hmm.
children, is your employees of the internal customers. And external customers whom you sell the product or service.
Hmm.
So if you don't take care of the internal customers, if you don't improve the life of the internal customers. So think about this way: if you have a big fight with your spouse, right, or with your children, you cannot be a fantastic leader then on the same day in your organization. You can't,
Hmm.
or a
Hmm.
manager, because
Yep.
we as a human being, it doesn't work that way. So you have to make sure that you listen to the internal and make them happy. Then you make sure that you can make the external customer as well
Mm.
as your employees is an internal customer. So that is the first phase is the listen. The enrichment is all about every single day, if you can think about relentlessly, to think about how can I, anything my organization is doing, whatever I can do to enrich the product or enrich
Mm.
the process, right?
Mm.
Or
Mhm.
enrich my colleague's life
Yeah.
or enrich my customer's life. So everything is all about improving somebody else. And what can I do? Not
Mm.
somebody else, I do. So that is the second part, which is called the enrich. And the third thing is called the optimize. And optimize is all about relentlessly thinking about how to make the product or process as perfect as possible,
Mm.
right? And give your best effort.
Yeah.
Always think about that before you introduce the product, always think about that if it is going to fail. So, see, the beauty is that human being never talk about quality if
Mm.
the product is perfect. Feel human beings talk about quality when the
Mm.
product fails, right? When the process fails, then they talk about quality. But
Mm.
before that, if it is perfect, nobody talk about quality,
Right.
right? So the question is that how you make sure that you design the product or process that it does not fail, so
Mm.
that you don't have to worry about quality. So those are the three principles I
Very
defined in
interesting.
that book.
Very, very interesting. Thank you for sharing this. Tell me, what role does leadership play in embedding quality into an organization's DNA? And give me an example if possible.
So the first thing is that leaders language. What I find by working with last 25 years with a lot of senior leaders from Jack Welch to Mary Barra to all types of top leaders around the world. What I find is that leadership's language is all about money to make profit for
Mm.
the organization as well as make profit for the shareholders. Right? That is their number one job. So the most important part, what I find, how you connect quality with the leader's objective of the revenue growth as well as the take all the waste out so that you can make the organization better. So the saving part. So I talk about is a two-prong approach. One is the revenue growth.
Mm.
Another one is the cutting, doing the efficiency so that you can take all the waste out so that you can save millions or billions of dollars to the companies.
Mm.
So one of the prime example I can give it to you is a gentleman named like a Glenn Bowden. He passed away now. He used to be the chairman and CEO of Caterpillar. Caterpillar is a big conglomerate,
Yeah.
as you know,
Mm.
in heavy equipment manufacturer, Caterpillar. And so when we did quality, first of all, leaders means CEO has to champion quality.
Right.
Majority of the time, almost 99.99% of the time, quality is not championed by CEO. Quality, what they do, oh, they wanted to do quality, they wanted to do Six Sigma, they wanted to do Leo, or they wanted to design for Six Sigma. What they do, they give it to a vice president of quality. That is wrong. If they
Mm.
do that, they will never get results.
Mm.
The way they will get results, if a CEO come in saying, no, it is my job.
Mm.
I wanted to champion quality. I'm the champion of this. I'm going to drive. Because if it becomes the vice president of quality, manufacturing vice president of engineering, vice president of product development, vice
Mm.
president of HR, none of them will listen to vice president of quality. But if the CEO champions, they will all listen to the CEO. So the quality has to be championed by CEO. That is the
Mm.
number one. If it is not championed by CEO, they will not get the best results, right? So
Mm.
in Glenn Borden, and I had a pleasure of working with him, and one of the things what he did was he literally said, okay, Mike, at that time their revenue was $20 billion. So
Mm.
he called me and said, Subir, I have a big pain that is nothing to do with quality. I said, okay, share with me. So he said, okay, my pain is that I wanted to be a $30 billion in 10 years,
Mhm.
from 20 to 30, but I've been struggling for the last 10 years and I'm stuck at 20, but I cannot go back to 30 billion. So I looked at him and I said, you have a $10 billion revenue defect. So let us implement and design quality such
Mm.
a way we can take your 20 billion to 30 billion. Guess what
Mm.
happened?
Mm.
10 years later, instead of 30 billion, they achieved 42 billion
Amazing.
in
Amazing.
revenue, right?
Well said.
And they wanted to save within the company waste. They wanted to save 250 million. They end up with saving 800 million.
Mm. Fantastic.
See, So that is the
Fantastic.
main example
Yeah,
that I can tell you,
great
that one of the
example.
prime examples.
Great example. What does it mean to align quality with the trinity of process, planet, and people?
So, first of all, so let's talk about the process and people. So, when I define quality, I
Mm,
always talk about that it is quality is the combination of people power and the process power,
mhm,
right? So, and process means, any organization, doesn't matter which industry, whatever, government or whatever,
mm.
private, every organization has millions of processes. The
Yeah.
more the organization is larger, their processes.
Mm,
And every process has a variation. And when the variation is bigger, that is the time the quality problem happens. So our expertise is much more to make the variation, as little as possible. So that is
mm,
the process side. So we improve the process. But the problem is, even if you do the process, if the people does not have the quality mindset, if they don't have the caring mindset, if
mm,
they don't have the mindset of, quality is my business, if majority of the employees doesn't have that mindset that I need to, quality belongs to me, I will do everything in my power to do the best work possible. If they
mm,
don't have that mindset, that people does not be a part of that,
mm.
doesn't matter what process you put, they will not. So give you an example illustration. So for an example, that a person, when they do a project, after the first project, they wash their hand. But another company who have a caring mindset culture, they will come in and they say, "Oh my God, I did the first project. I want to do 5 more projects
Mm.
because I can improve more." Because the mindset is different. They have
Yep.
the caring mindset. So that is the like a people side. So people has to have the caring mindset or
Mm.
quality mindset
Yep.
to make that. Now, once you have those two, you have to make sure what you are working for, making an impact to the humanity, to the
Mm.
planet,
Yep.
right? So any product you do, how it is impacting to the world, right?
Mm.
So if you can make that impact, it can be environmental impact, it can be other impact, but you have to think about that perspective, how it is impacting humanity. If it is
Very well.
ultimately not impacting
Yeah.
humanity, then what is the point of doing it?
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. I have time for two more questions for you, Shabir.
Sure.
In a world driven by AI, automation, and digital transformation, how must the principles of quality evolve?
So that is very good question. So I kind of, my prediction is that a lot of right now in America, I don't know in India, in America there's a lots of hype going on in
Mm.
AI. Everybody is jumping into AI. What will happen? You will see maybe within a year or maybe within 2 or 3 years, most of the companies will say, "Oh my God, AI doesn't work.
Mm.
AI fails." It's nothing to fault with AI. What
Mm.
happened is that the question I'm going to ask is the quality of AI. Are
Mm.
they implementing of the AI properly? There
Mm.
might be some companies are doing AI implementation amazing, but majority of the companies, they are just doing it blindly. Everybody is doing it, you will do it. They don't
Mm.
know how to implement it. So the quality of implementation of AI is failing. So when I say, so what is AI? Literally, any work you do, there is an input and there is an output,
Mm.
right? If input is bad, if input is bad, doesn't matter what AI system it goes through,
Mm.
output will be bad.
Correct.
Right? Simple, right? So the question is the input is good enough? Is the input is high quality? If the CEO doesn't understand and CEO said, "Oh, I don't get what AI is,"
Yeah.
and they blindly implement AI, they will be putting a lot of garbage within that, even within the
Correct.
AI. Then they
Mm.
will blame AI. It's nothing to do with AI. AI is a very powerful.
Mm.
Automation is amazingly powerful. But the
Mm.
important part is CEOs and his leadership or her leadership team has to truly understand and take time what that AI system is going to do. Is
Correct.
all the input they are putting in the AI and automation is good enough? And are they quality input? If the input is quality, then output would be phenomenal quality. So that
Great
is very
example.
clear.
Great example. I remember years ago when I was at ITC, when computers just first came, the term GIGO came in, which was garbage in and garbage out.
Garbage.
So,
Exactly. So exactly.
this is a
Yes.
great example.
Same with AI. Same with
Correct.
AI.
Very, very good example. So, my last question for you. You've established the Subir Chowdhury School of Quality and Reliability at IIT Kharagpur. Tell me a little bit about the school and how do you envision its global impact?
So when I established the school, the reason I established the school, I kind of feel that obviously I'm a graduate from IIT,
Yeah.
and so that is a kind of I wanted to kind of give back to my alma mater. And everything I achieved in my life, I have tremendous amount of debt to IIT. So I wanted to do something, and it is the first school of quality and reliability in not only in India, also in Asia. But I wanted that to become like a hub of Indian movement of quality movement. That is the main goal. Even though right now they are giving PhD and master's degree in quality and reliability, and a lot of the Indian corporations as well as the government government organizations within India that continuously sending their people for masters and PhD and all this stuff. So they are doing a phenomenal job. But I think my overall goal is literally to how to educate. One of the things I'm challenging them and I'm pushing them how to educate the Indian masses on the quality awareness. In
Correct.
fact, I was trying to push them to go to even some Indian iconic people like maybe Sachin Tendulkar or somebody to become like a big ambassador of talking about why India needs quality. Because let me tell you, my personal opinion, being a global guy, India is the one of the best talent, absolutely the one of the world's leading talent that producer in the world, who also can fluently speak English, which is a global language, right?
Correct.
Fluently speak English, plus brilliant people, brilliant mind. But what is lacking? So in my mind, can India 10 years from today or 20 years from today, can they become even beat China in quality, in manufacturing, in obviously in computer, in software, we beat. There's no doubt India is the number one in the world on that area. But can they beat in the manufacturing and the next generation areas? In my vision, I think there's a possibility there, but they have to invest in quality. So
Very good.
my dream is that how to bring the Japanese quality mindset in India as a country, as a nation. And that is the goal, because I really took by heart in IIT Kharagpur, as soon as you enter the campus, on the main building, there's a big slogan. It's called dedicated to the service to the nation, right? Dedicated to the service to the nation. So that is the main foundation of IIT. So
Correct.
one of the things I'm pushing is that how we can be in the forefront, IIT to be in the forefront to make India to be more quality conscious. That is the main reason.
Fascinating.
we're stepping on this.
Fascinating. But on that note, Subir, I just want to say what a fascinating conversation this has
Oh,
been.
thank you.
Thank you for talking to me about your own incredible journey. Thank you for talking to me at such length about the amazing wisdom of your grandfather. Your story of coin versus pen is something that I'm sure my viewers and listeners will remember for a long time to come. Thank you for talking to me about your book, about good enough is not good enough, about listen, enrich, and optimize, and of course, about process, planet, and people. Thank you again, and good luck to you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for hosting me.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.